if you changed your shirt.
I did. I bought this today.
Oh, I like it.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to Day and Night. This is the first ever episode. My name is Mike Breeden, seated next to
Will.
And we are very happy to be here. We were going to start the show at 8 o'clock. We were going to do it every Friday night at 8 p.m. But we've been told that people are doing things on Friday nights around 8 p.m. So we're probably going to change the day and the time, either to a Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe 8:30, since we can't get started on time to save our lives. But anyways, in this show, what we're going to do is we're going to take an in-depth look and try to, in a head-on manner, figure out what to do with some of the unaddressed homeless population in Bemidji, Minnesota, and maybe the surrounding areas, depending on how big things get.
A community conversation.
A community conversation that's going to be focusing on something that we're calling the Day and Night Center Project. This show is called Day and Night, and we're going to have every week a guest on, and we're going to talk to them about what they've been up to and their involvement,
their perspective.
We're also going to take a portion of the show and have a call-in section where we invite you, the community, to call in and join the conversation. But what we want to look at is a center, some sort of place where the homeless, usually male, well, it doesn't matter if they're male or not, but usually male, alcoholic, addicted to drugs, but the gentleman you usually see downtown on a bench here and there, and find a way,
or on the railroad track,
or anywhere,
tent city like we had last year,
but find
every year,
but find a place where they can sleep in the coldest parts, in the coldest nights of the winter. What I've always been kicking around and saying is a place like an old annex part of the old courthouse that would have cots and a television, leftover sack lunches from community service perhaps, and one or two staff members there, maybe a volunteer police officer or somebody working under a grant that has the appropriate training, and literature available, and phone numbers available for people that would want to get rehabilitated, that would want to choose sobriety.
Well, that's a stopgap measure, Mike. If we did it with our leftovers, better yet, we should tell them about the facility that we went and saw.
Well, the whole thing is we're trying to figure out a way that we can get it started and then grow it from there. But Will and I just got back from Minneapolis. We had a lovely time there. And
I had a great time.
Well, that makes one of us. We went and we visited with some wonderful people from something called the Anishinaabe Waukegan, which is the People's House, right?
Or Spirit House. I've heard different Spirit House, People's House.
But we went there, and we were able to have a 18 to 20 minute conversation on tape, which we have ready for you tonight. So after we're done taking calls, we're going to go ahead and run that beautiful beach footage, and you can see a part of our little trip. And we want this to be different. We want people to take this more seriously, but we're still going to have a good time doing it because we're alive. We're in America today, right? We're not making much money in public access television.
We're in beautiful Bemidji.
In Bemidji, yes.
But we have issues just like they do in large metropolitan areas.
Yes. So what we're going to do, or attempt to do, with each one of these programs too, is to get together with some people and put together a little video of Will and I on location talking to people that have already done a lot of the things that we're looking at doing. And we're going to learn from the people that have already done it. Right?
That's right. Why reinvent the wheel, as they say? It's been done. These issues are around. I remember the house that we visited, the Anishinaabe Waukegan, down. It's on Franklin, right next to behind the American Indian Center on Franklin. And I remember back in the late 90s when their project got started, and there was an issue. One of the people we talked to down there was Mike Gozy. Mm-hmm. And he related the issue that prompted, it was like he said, it was a straw that broke the proverbial camel's back. But there were a couple street fellas that got picked up in Minneapolis one night, and he relates the whole story. But they weren't treated very well, and they were driven around, passed off from place to place, and never did get any treatment. And the community just said, we can do better. We
Yeah.
can do better than this.
Yeah.
And that's what prompted them to get this facility started. And the idea is it's a place to stay if you have issues with chemical abuse or alcohol abuse. Right now, there are a few, as I'd say, stopgap measures in Bemidji, places to stay. There are facilities for women with children, and they are temporary stays. Apparently, there's time limitations on who can stay and who qualifies. But a lot of times, the single men have nowhere to go. So they're the ones that we see around town or living down by the tracks or nowhere to go. And just here a couple weeks ago, one of them didn't have anywhere to go. And he ended up not living through the night. And Mike and I thought about it, a lot of people I'm sure are thinking about it, and we can do better.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to explore.
Exactly, and a lot of people have been doing an amazing job, and you know, with the bonding issue that just came up with, it should be back in a second. Oh, we just lost our feed. There, we're back. We're good. We're on. But with the bonding issue, I know Roger Helquist during that meeting there was bringing up a very good point about how there's, you know, more serious things that, you know, than this money being utilized for the Carnegie. We have big issues like these things. Ron Johnson has worked tirelessly on trying to figure out something. We just think that if we bring all these people together, we can make a difference, and we can build something. The straw that broke the camel's back with what Will was talking about, what had happened is they had put an individual who had soiled himself, instead of in the back of the cop car, they put him in the trunk of the cop car.
The police said that they didn't want to dirty the back of the squad car.
And so that moment when
It was two guys they threw in the trunk of the car.
and
Drove him around town, ended up down at Hennepin General, I believe they took him. And
when you find out about that lack of humanity, you know, it's just that's enough. And then with the issue, the gentleman who was found half submerged by Nymore Beach, half submerged in the water, dead. You know, he was moved from downtown to the hospital, would not stay for treatment there. They had to go and pick him up, then brought back in, and you know, an appropriate intake measure, you know, a procedure needs to be in place. And it's great that the police have, when it's gotten so cold that people are dying out there during the winter, they've allowed people to come and sleep in the lobby, and then they come and they spray it down in the morning. But you have people sleeping on concrete floors and on chairs with their sweatshirts over top of them to try to keep warm. And you know, there are churches that have come together, and SOS and these programs that are doing amazing things, but we can do something with a 1, 2, 3 to it, right?
there's nothing permanent.
Nothing.
And one of the things that Mike pointed out was the cost savings. All these interactions are very costly. And detox, many people go to detox over and over and over. And here in Beltrami County, apparently there's a great expense just sending someone to detox. And these things are all very expensive. Emergency room visits are expensive. So there are ways that they found down there that they can serve this population and save money at the same time.
Right.
But more important than that, they have better outcomes. The individuals themselves find less health problems, and they find less safety problems when they're outside. If you're outside sleeping, there's been many instances where these guys get beat up, they get rolled, sometimes worse than that. And so there's more humane ways to treat our friends and neighbors. And there are brothers, there are fathers, there are uncles, there are extended families out here that are having a hard time.
In this portion of the interview, you know, like you'll see Will and I having a good time goofing off, then we get to this thing, and we're going to show a portion of the interview that we had there. We're also going to be visiting them again probably in about 2 weeks and going to go more and more in depth with them to find out more about how they made it happen, and we'll provide that footage for you as well. But in this portion of the interview, it was wonderful to hear that, you know, that what happens is it's an alleviation of a financial burden, that the repeat problems, you're not having to, you know, send people here and there, and there's a way to address a problem instead of just moving it around and spreading it out, collapsing a bus station, you know, and hoping that somebody just goes elsewhere anyways, yada yada. When we open up the phone lines, which we're going to do here in a few minutes, we also invite you, if you do have a different opinion that, you know, well, they should get it together and they should get a job, you're welcome to call. We're going to keep it very civil and very friendly, and we're not going to be tearing anybody down. So if you're getting a little agitated by a few bleeding hearts over here, just, well, be nice to us, okay? Because we're bleeding hearts. But give us a call. We'll go ahead and open up the phone lines here. Did you have anything else to say before we're bombarded with people that hate us?
Not right now. I'm interested to see what you came up with on the video here.
It's a good time. It's fun. We got to keep it fun.
We had a good time. We did some family things. And
we can
we
have.
got out. And
Yes.
it was a good time.
We got out.
But we got some good information.
Yes, we did, and we're going to
We
share.
got out of the dungeon there. We got out of the basement.
Well, I even look at how white I am on that screen. This is me with a tan from being out of the dungeon. Whoa, that's bad. Give us a call if you feel like it, 218-333-0733.
Or if you're in Bemidji, 333-0733.
Thank you, William. But give us a call. We'll remind you that if you're going to curse or anything like that, we'll just hang up, so it's rather pointless. It's before 10 o'clock, so keep it clean. 333-0733. You know, when we were there, we also stayed at a nice hotel together, William and I. It was nice.
It's lovely. You went swimming. I didn't even go swimming.
I went swimming in my underwear. I didn't have any trunks. So there I was, just...
But the pool was
Pot
open
belly.
24 hours a day, which was nice.
Oh, yeah, we ran into the 24-hour glory. Went to a sushi restaurant that was 24 hours. Oh, not 24 hours, but it was all you could eat. Apologies.
It was good raw fish.
Oh, man, we stuffed ourselves silly. And
You
then,
did.
huh?
You did.
I did, actually. I'm just a small-town boy. I don't get stuff like that. But yeah, the pool was open 24 hours. The people in Minneapolis are just out of their mind here. Dancing and clubs and these types of things.
Well, it was gay Pride weekend, or
Yes,
what
it
was it?
Pride Week.
There were a
or
lot
weekend,
of people, a lot of people down there in that town. It was interesting. It changed a lot. We spent most of our times in northeast and south central Minneapolis there, and it had changed. It was interesting the way Central Avenue has changed a lot. The ethnicities of the stores and the variety was pretty amazing. I liked it. It was invigorating.
333-0733. Give us a call. You only got about 5 minutes, and then we're going to roll that beautiful bean footage. But we're here talking today on our program, Day and Night, about the Day and Night Center project as a working title to try to figure out a facility that can address
It would be open day
the
and night.
unaddressed.
It would be open day and night.
Well, that's the play on the words there.
Yeah.
See, and it was Will was saying, hey, night and day, but that's, you know, that's him and I. That's not a center. That's
I'm day, you're night. That Waukegan house, it's an apartment basically.
Waukegan House. I think you just called it House.
Okay, well the Waukegan is they're open. It's just an apartment where they have certain qualifications to get in, and then once you get in, you're part of the community there.
Right.
And it sounds as though they have their own what do you call it? The tenants there have their own. It sounds like a little tenants council where they make decisions about a lot of things.
Put a cork in it, hon. I'm talking business here.
If you have a suggestion on what night would work best,
Give us a call.
give us a call.
If you have a suggestion on who would make a good guest, maybe yourself, give us a call. You got a piece of paper and a pen. You're ready to write stuff down. It's a learning experience, right? Right?
That's right. So this is real life TV. Go flip the switch.
I'm going to watch and enjoy Will and I's trip to Minneapolis and learn a little bit about the Anishinaabe-Waukegan facility and the wonderful work that they do there. It's just a portion of the interview that we had, but it's very informative. Enjoy. You keep talking as I go to the back room here. Please.
Okay.
Sing a song.
It makes him nervous when I don't say anything. But anyway, it's, yeah, this is live TV, no commercials. That's one thing that I really enjoy about Upstream TV. As with all the other public broadcasting, keep the commercials to a minimum, actually none. So we can talk about important issues and have some fun programming and whatever the community wants. Remember, you can come down $25 a year. Anyone can become a member. Even if you're not a member, you can submit programming. If you have something that other people would like to see, bring it down and we'll get it on the air. But Mike's going to flip over. We'll show you a little bit of our trip this week. And you can meet some of the people that we met. And we will be talking to all them again here very shortly. They were nice enough to give us some information about other programs that other cities have started recently. I believe Alexandria and Rochester both have, and they mentioned another couple areas that had started a program similar to theirs. So, enjoy the clip.
Okay, Will here with Upstream TV. Who's ready? Who am I talking to?
Who's ready?
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Mike Breeden here, Channel 18 Upstream TV, headed down to Minneapolis to talk to some very fine people that are well-versed and experienced in the world of taking care of the homeless. I'm joined here today with Will Hartwell. Very happy to be here. Actually, we're going to Minneapolis for the first time, you and I. We're going to stay in a hotel with a single bed.
What's that you're eating there, buddy?
A little beef stick.
What the hell's going on up here?
Here we go.
First obstacle of the day, flat tire.
You gotta keep on trucking, man. Look at this. Look at the size of this drink. Here we are at America today.
How much gas you put in this beast?
$100 right on the button. Hey, let's reset the mileage. Hey.
I guess it's a detox facility, but it's also a wet house where they have some of the homeless individuals, gives them a place, safe place to stay, and they don't question them if they're drinking or not. They can't drink in the facility, but if they had been drinking, well, that's just the way it is. As long as they're, you know, a good neighbor, they come and they live there. And apparently it's working out real well down in the Franklin Avenue neighborhood. So we're going to check it out.
But it's all concept, and so what we're going to do with the show is talk about these types of things, and we're going to go out and speak to people like we are right now. We're going to the big city, William.
This looks like the Emerald City. What is this?
This here is Minneapolis, Minnesota, William.
What are all those big buildings?
They're called skyscrapers. They scrape the sky, so to speak.
They look taller than Birchmont, Tamarack Hall, yeah.
They are, Will. They certainly are.
That's a bigger building than the Carnegie.
Well, it's at least twice its size, Will. They spare no expense.
That's what I imagine Abu Dhabi looks like, Mike.
Yep, New Delhi, the whole bit right there. I worked at the Marriott Hotel months and months.
You were
Valet parking.
bed bug inspector?
Yeah, great.
Here's a cute little place with the martini glasses, BJ's.
BJ's Liquor Lounge Dancing.
Hey, they have a meat raffle.
No cover.
Here's the Mississippi River. Look at that.
Me.
That's some pretty skillful driving you get doing there, Mike.
Did you keep me going through that red light?
Mike's excited because he gets to see his sister.
Right in time for trivia. Oh, Lush is what it's called. I forgot.
Oh, the Vegas Lounge, that's still here. Looks just like me.
Street Tavern.
There's the Gopher Liquor Store. They saved us a spot right here.
Mike, are you videotaping? Oh, I hate you.
I haven't seen you for a long time. Good to see you.
Really?
Oh, man.
Why don't you ask Ben?
is empty.
Yeah, what you should do, what you want, man, you should go to Winnipeg.
Why should I go to Winnipeg?
Because I got a friend up there that is a facilitator to the Stars. He works for the limousine service, and they take you all around. Whatever you want, he shows you the town, shows you everything, supplies, whatever you name it. He's like a genie in a bottle, except his bottle is a black Lincoln.
His bottle is a black Lincoln. What is it, 10 after 11? We got a 12 o'clock checkout.
It's 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock?
We're supposed to be at brunch at 11.
Supposed to be at brunch 11. Then we're back on the job. Enough goofing around, let's get down to brass tacks here. Take a shower.
Oh, I gotta go down here. I think I know somebody down here in this room.
There's no big buses, man. People got enough money to Me, you, and him, we get a whole preview to ourselves.
Huh.
There's like 3 people, 4 people.
Oh, yeah.
They line up and like, okay, 3, give in 1 cap, 3, give in 1 cap.
Oh, yeah.
From that state, okay, we give you $100 and a bus ticket. Get out of town.
Huh.
Get out of town. And 80% of people, they take the $100 and they don't leave.
Any recourse for that? Any fallout from that when they just take the $100?
You can, they won't help you for a whole year. For a whole year. If it gets to 35 degrees over there, they call it a cold front. You know what I'm saying?
Take a right here on this street here.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, they call it the cold front. So when the cold front happens, they're gonna find out that you're still here, and you're gonna be one of the first people they're gonna kick out of the shelter. And I'm looking at them like 35 degrees. 35 degrees, man. It's summer to us. Keep watching the Stream TV.
Sweet. All right, you ready? You rolling? Rolling. Well, here we are. It's Will and Mike, all about town. About town. Down in the big Twin Cities, Minneapolis, Milltown. And we're here at the Waukegan, Anishinaabe Waukegan.
Right, People's Home.
People's Home. And who am I talking here today?
My name is Mike Gozzi. I'm the CEO of American Indian Community Development Corporation, who is the owner-operator of Anishinaabe Waukegan, along with people of PPL.
Hi, my name is Rhonda Ingberg. I am the program manager at Anishinaabe Waukegan.
And I'm Janet Graham. I am with American Indian Community Development Corporation, the owner of the building, and I'm the administration manager.
Now, I understand this is sort of a granddaddy of programs like this in the state of Minnesota. Am I correct?
Yeah, it was started in 1996. We've been in operation for quite a few years now. At the time, it was kind of a different model because it was at the time called a wet facility, wet house, letting chronic people drink in a facility. Now we know it as housing first, harm reduction. And so it's actually taken on its own model, and it's duplicated throughout Minnesota and across the country.
So what were the options before your facility was here? What would happen? What would people do?
Well, the reason it started was because people were dying in the streets. People were dying from the elements, whether it be hot, whether it be, cold, and also because of victimization. There were a number of Native women that were brutalized because they had no place to go. And at the time, in the 1990s, I was a counselor at the Hennepin County Detox, and so the detox was the residence for a number of these folks, and we were able to prove that it was not a feasible dollars and cents model to house chronics in detox, and so we looked at a model that would work, and we believe that our model saves resources, taxpayer resources, by providing stable housing. We know the benefits of people that live within our walls. We know that there's a reduced level of drinking, more days of sobriety, less days of binge drinking. We work with the health of the individuals, so we monitor their medications, not really monitor, but we have a doctor on staff to make sure that people can get the medications they need. If they want us, we will hold the medications, and then we contact them when it's time to take the medication, handing them the bottle, they take their pills, and they go on. We work with them in the mental health. A lot of these folks have had traumatic injury, whether it's traumatic brain injury from being hit or whether it is trauma. PSD, most of these, a lot of the folks that we serve have had a difficult upbringing from childhood on up, and with that comes a lot of trauma. With that becomes a lot of reason for medication. In some cases, the alcohol use is a way of medicating, taking away a little of the pain, and we work on addressing those issues. and providing, not necessarily providing all the service here, but looking at the referral network. In Minneapolis, we're very fortunate to have a lot of service providing organizations. So if we have someone with a particular need, a particular issue, that we can generally find someone that specializes in that area to help them get there. And by being here, they have a better chance of making it. And making it there, we offer transportation if need be, but more it's about the general support. 3 meals a day. We're sitting in the dining room. A lot of these folks, went from food shelf to food shelf or soup kitchen to soup kitchen. We're able to provide 3 meals a day. We look at providing a well-balanced diet so that folks who suffer from diabetes or have other medical issues are not compromised by eating junk food or foods that may not be good for their particular illness. Can we satisfy all of them? No, but we do our best part in providing, a menu that addresses some of the main concerns that we would have in a dietary supplement for people.
When we approach the facility, how many stories are we? How many does it hold here? How many occupants?
Currently, we have an interesting model. Currently, we have in Anishinaabe-Waukegan started as a 40-unit building, and it's 3 floors, and we increased to 45 several years ago because of the demand. We had some space that we thought could be better used in serving the population, and so some of the community areas we've actually brought bigger areas to be community areas to the smaller areas to provide more housing. And then we had another organization, another native serving organization that closed recently, and we actually have 15 beds of sober folks living in Anishinaabe-Waukegan. So the top 2 floors are what are the harm reduction, housing first harm reduction model. Downstairs is sober living. And so we've been able to kind of meld the two, and it's provided a very interesting community. We've had people that lived in Anishinaabe-Waukegan for years that have chosen to move down to the sober living because they live a sober life. We have people in here that have been here literally years sober, but it's the community that keeps them together. It's the support that keeps them on track, and they realize that and find it very important in their lives. Rhonda is the manager here. She deals with the population on a daily basis, her and her staff. I run an organization that has 100 employees. We run the county detox, and we run the COLA program, which is a medical outreach program. So we look at how many different ways we can touch these folks and keep in contact with them to help them, get to the next level. As we look at future development, we look at, expanding the care that we can provide by having more units that would have the sober housing option, and work readiness programs to get these folks, the ones that have the capacity, have the desire to move on to becoming more productive in their daily lives.
Has this been duplicated in smaller communities?
Currently, the facilities that I know throughout the state of Minnesota, there's one in Rochester, there's New San Marcos up in Duluth, St. Cloud has started one in the last year, and so they're smaller populations than Minneapolis. I guess it's where the need is. Ideal on reservation areas, where reservations with population much smaller than Bemidji that has the need and is looking at the model as a way of 2 things. One is using the resources appropriately, not a waste of resources, and the other thing is better quality of life. We started our conversation here with the city, with the county, with the state in regards to saving dollars, because that's what they understand. A typical day of a chronic is they get drunk, they fall down, somebody calls 911, the police show up, the fire truck shows up, and then an ambulance shows up. And the police looks at him and says, well, he's drunk, but he hit his head, so he's bleeding. The ambulance says, well, I got to take him to ER. So they go from the street to the ER. ER looks at him and says, well, he's drunk and he needs a Band-Aid. And they put it on there, and then they send him to detox. And it's a $2,000 day. You know, when you add up all the services, you add up all the man hours, you add up, the costs. And where we can house somebody for a month for less than the $2,000 of one day. Examples of what we see is, every year we have to prove to the county how do we save resources, and we look at their numbers in how to do that. An example, the last time I looked was we had one client that in the first 6 months of the year was in detox 63 times, and he had numerous ER experiences and numerous contact with police. He was with us the second 6 months. He went from 63 times, 63 contacts to 3. All right, saving of 60 contacts, and that relates into dollars. In Minneapolis, we have a Trauma One hospital. The ER is Trauma One, the only one in the state, and it benefits from us being here because the folks would wind up where they're at.
And in the beginning, can you remember back the obstacles or the opposition, or the arguments people have for not wanting to? Someone mentioned the NIMBY factor, not in my backyard, but some of the obstacles and how those were overcome.
Well, we have Jan, who is our historian, and Jan has been with AICDC for quite a number of years, but more importantly, has been in the neighborhood since the 1960s. I was going to say more, but Jan, really, I'd like Jan to speak to that because she was a supporter before working here and continues to be a supporter and continues to share with the new folks in the neighborhood what it used to be like and what it's like today.
Tell us a little about that.
When they were trying to get approval for Anishinaabe-Waukayagan, there was a lot of neighborhood protest. They did not want it here. They did not understand it being here. They thought it would bring in all these people and all these problems. It did pass. They did have meetings. They did do petitions, and it did pass, and it got built back in 1995 and 96 is when they opened up. Since that time, and I've lived here since 1968. I have to think back. But I remember that there were people on the streets everywhere. Everywhere you went, there were people laying on the yards, people drinking. It was really bad back then. And since Waukayagan, when Waukayagan opened in 1996, I do not see that anymore. I see that Waukayagan has alleviated that problem. It's not saying that they're not out there. It's just it's telling me that a lot of the problems have been cured by having some of those people having a place to go, and the neighborhood is better for it, 100 times better for it. It's made a huge difference in the neighborhood.
I imagine all the community feels better.
It does.
When the least amongst us is doing well, we're all doing better.
Mm-hmm. The people, some of the people that live here, I have known. I did not know their names before I started working here, but I remember them being on the streets. I remember specifically one who used to pick up all the cans and the aluminum. And I remember him back then, and I'd save my cans and things like that and set it out there for him, or grab him and say, here's some cans. And that was before the recycling started. But he lived here. And I remember when I first started at working for American Indian Community Development that he lived here, and he had lived here for about 10 years. And he's out now, and he's stopped drinking, and he's got a lot of things right now that are going for him.
So there's no time limit on the amount of time a person can be a resident?
When they first move in, there are guidelines that we have to follow. They have to have certain criteria that they have to fit into. But after they have been here, and if they've been here for a certain period of time and they stop drinking, they can stay here for as long as they want. We don't try to push them out or anything, like that. If they want to go and look for housing themselves, we will actually, our case managers will actually help them look for housing for themselves. But no, there is no time limit after they've been in here.
Is there a waiting list?
It's called an eligibility list, and it's a little short right now. It's summertime. A lot of guys don't want to come in right now. When it gets cold out, then that's when the list becomes longer.
So you do have people move in and move out?
Yes.
Our average length of stay is about 2 years for the people that come in here. We have, people that go in and go out, but we have enough of a steady population where this is their home. I mean, it's called Anishinaabe-Wakaigan, the people's home, because it was designed to be their home. The housing first model, the harm reduction, housing first harm reduction model is meant with the understanding that people need a place to stay. You don't have to earn it, And what we know is by giving them a place to stay, we are able to make a number of interventions that will help them in making a decision to change. We can't change them. All we can do is provide an opportunity for them to better make a decision. And that's the way we look at it.
We appreciate your time. Is there any last words? Maybe you could all speak to the city of Bemidji.
My background is chemical health. I was a counselor at Hennepin County Detox, and so I knew a lot of the chronics. I worked primarily with the Native American chronics that came into detox. So some of them use it as their home. And the community wanted to provide for the most vulnerable. The Native community did. And that was because of the exposure issues, whether it's hot or cold, and the medical, chemical health, all the things that a community strives for their people to be better with.
Wow. That was impressive.
What was impressive?
The magic you did there, that was good.
Oh, be nice.
No, I liked it. Mike whipped that together this afternoon.
I had a good time with you. Who's calling? Howdy, howdy, howdy. Caller, welcome to Day and Night. We'll remind you to turn your set down. Who are we talking to?
Hi, this is Danielle McAllister.
Hello, Danielle. How are you?
I'm great.
Have you been watching the program?
Yeah. I have. How are you?
I'm good. Will and I just got done showing a clip, I'm sure you just saw it, of our trip to Minneapolis. It was a lovely time.
Yeah, it looked great.
Did you have any thoughts on the whole
day and night center project?
I think it's a wonderful idea. I think that if the sooner it can happen would be the better. Whatever we need to do. And I have personal experience with knowing a couple of people that went and stayed in a house somewhat like this in Duluth, Minnesota. And they were great people, and they were able to get themselves on their feet and get jobs and all of these other things that they wouldn't have the opportunity to do if it wasn't for a house like this. And they ended up staying there for a while with their, even with some of their families. So it's a good idea.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, were you calling for any other reason? Is everything fine with Eve?
Everything is fine, yes. We were just, just watching the show.
You're great. Well, I'll call you back after the program.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for calling.
Yes.
Bye.
Well, that was nice. First-hand experience there. She knows someone that benefited. In Duluth. We have to, maybe we can take a road trip to Duluth.
She gave me the name of the facility in Duluth, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to all these other places, and we're going to interview them. We're going to take their information, bring it back here, and spew it out over the airwaves.
Hopefully inspire Bemidji.
Spew is the wrong word.
Inspire Bemidji.
Transmit.
There you go.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Give us a call next time. We're going to move this show to a new time. We're thinking Wednesdays, but we'll put a little something
Tuesday
on.
night, Wednesday night. Give us a call. Whatever you think.
Yeah, and if you'd like to be a guest or have any information that you'd like to share with us, give us a call at 218-333-0733 or visit us on the web at upstreamtv.com. Say your last goodbyes, William, as I go to the back room. You know what you said before was very nice about them becoming members of Upstream TV.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, give us a call. Come on down. Stop in the station anytime you want. And come down with some programming ideas. Something. We all watch TV. I'm an channel switcher, constantly switching channels. And I can never find anything that I want to watch. But we all have said, God, I could do better than that. So this is your chance. Come on down. Do better than that. Want you to come down and have your programs, your community groups, your family issues, whatever you have. Think of a soap opera. Come on down. Let's have some fun down here, Upstream TV. And it's your channel waiting for you to come on down. So 333-0733 or in the basement of Bridget's Cross right downtown. Have a good weekend and stay safe.